kinds of challenges typically companies encounter on strategic transformation are, number one is lots of different ideas, but no alignment around which ones are really going to move the needle on value creation and which ones to pursue. The second is biases. So many times management teams just have a legacy bias where this is how they've done it before, or they've allocated resources in a certain way in the past and they want to continue to allocate resources in that same manner. The third thing that's very challenging about strategic transformation is funding of initiatives. So in a performance transformation, typically the dollars are hitting the bottom line quite quickly, which enables a self-funding model. In a strategic transformation, some of the initiatives could be further off or require substantial investment to execute against. New products, moving to new geographies, changing business models, investing in digital. All these types of things that are more strategic in nature typically require upfront investment before the dollars start hitting the bottom line. As part of a strategic transformation, one of the important ingredients is to build a funding mechanism into the program. That's why often you'll see companies that are doing strategic transformation, they're also doing performance transformation as part of one overall transformation roadmap, so that the entire transformation is self-funding. Leadership plays a critical role in a strategic transformation. Oftentimes the moves that are being proposed and part of the transformation roadmap are fundamentally transforming the company over a long period of time. And so the ability of leadership to build conviction and commitment around the moves that need to be made and around the transformation is absolutely critical for its success. Getting alignment from the management team around the big moves is absolutely critical. It's also not easy. Typically, a company that is undergoing a transformation is either at a crossroads of they don't believe they're achieving their full potential, they're seeing disruptions in their marketplace that they need to get ahead of, and there's usually a flurry of ideas that exist within the organization. An effective path to building alignment within the organization is grounding all the potential moves back to value creation. And that provides a mechanisms for management teams to understand the value creation potential, prioritize which moves are going to move the needle and which ones aren't, and also determine which are the ones that they want to execute against as part of the transformation roadmap. So a few ideas of how companies should think about sustaining a transformation include, first of all, sticking to the recipe. Whatever recipe they deployed, sticking with it, don't move off of it or don't declare victory early, but sticking with the recipe. The second is this notion of reinvesting in the pipeline. So after 12 months, there's going to be additional ideas that the company comes up with. And we see that the companies that are most successful in executing transformations are ones that continually reinvest in their pipeline. And then the third is focusing on organizational health in addition to performance. That's a key element that oftentimes companies will miss. Our research would point to the fact that companies that focus on both performance and health tend to outperform. And so I think those are three factors that are critical for a company to sustain the transformation. So I think the top success factors a CEO should have on his or her mind before launching into a transformation are, number one, a huge aspiration. They have to be willing to set the bar very, very high and go for the full potential. Two is they've got to have the support of the board. These are typically 2 to 3 year journeys. In the case of strategic transformation, sometimes it can be margin dilutive in the first year. And they've got to have the board's backing behind them in order to execute against it. And the third is you have to be willing to make several big, bold moves simultaneously. And that requires a lot of intensity, a lot of energy. I'd say the one thing I'd add in addition, on a strategic transformation in particular, is around resource reallocation. Resources tend to be very sticky. And so in a strategic transformation, the one thing that I always tell CEOs is you got to be ready to reallocate resources because that's going to be a key part of the success of most strategic transformation.